High ticket closer and you make less than $15,000 a month, you have zero excuses to why you don't watch this video in full, especially if you clicked on it because you want to get better at high ticket sales. If you're new to the channel, my name is Tristan Steckler. I've been doing high ticket for 4 years now. I've closed millions and I help people just like you take your skill set from where you're at to where you actually want to be. Watch the video in full, take notes, pen and paper, and I promise you if you implement what I teach, you will make more money. Enjoy.
Yeah, do you have a charger near you if needed?
Yeah, I did. Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, okay, sweet, sweet. So did you watch that video as well that I sent you there?
Yes, I did.
Okay, awesome. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I did have some questions about it. Some things I didn't quite understand, but
Yeah,
Is that Irish?
yeah. What would you do when they say something like that?
Well, you don't, the thing is, you should be asking what their takeaways are in text message or voice note prior to the call.
Mm, mm,
I don't
okay,
ask that on the sales call
okay.
just because it's like, I mean, I send it prior. I make sure they've watched it. And if they haven't watched it, I'm like, did you watch the video? He says no. And I'm like, what do you feel preventing you from watching the video?
Because
Very confronting.
even if they did watch the video and you ask takeaways, I feel like I sometimes get friction.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter what the takeaways are. The main thing that matters is they actually watched it.
But don't ask them that on the call anymore
Well, let's think about it. Why does it matter that they watch the video?
because they understand what I do before the call.
It's fitness. Everyone understands fitness.
Mm,
What is the the deeper reason behind why we need them to watch the video?
go forward with the things that they tell themselves.
Submission,
Yeah,
following our lead. That's why it's important they watch the video. Because it's not going to be revolutionary. It's not like they're getting some completely different angle on exercise and nutrition and accountability. They know what they're supposed to do. They're not doing it.
yeah,
So it
okay.
tells me what type of person am I talking to? Am I talking to somebody who's serious about getting the help they need and setting new standards for themselves, or they a go with the wind, could care less type of person? Because if they are, that's okay. I'm still glad that they're here, but I want to get into what that way of thinking has cost them. Cool.
Yes.
But you don't have to ask them like, what were your takeaways? You're always going to get some like super fluffy surface level answers.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it was interesting.
What I've seen works best on these calls is really just for starters getting to know you a little bit better. We'll figure out what your goals are, where you're trying to go, and then a possible strategy that we can put in place for those goals itself. And based on the content that you've probably seen from me as well, I've helped out a lot of people, but at the same time, there are some people that I can't necessarily help, and that's why I do these calls.
Okay, cool.
But if by the end I'm 100% confident that I can help you, I'll walk you through what it works and how we can do things together. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Before we dive in as well, though, John, I know, we met what, a couple minutes ago here. I'm going to be honest with you, the conversation that we're about to have, it's not going to be the easiest conversation to have, especially with somebody that you just met. But what I
Okay.
can say is that a lot of time, like what I've seen is that a lot of people from time to time, they surround themselves with people who kind of just pat them on the back and give them the answers that they want to hear, and they don't really know what's going on in their own life.
Okay.
But what I can say is that if you are open and honest with me throughout this conversation will absolutely be transformative for you. Is that something that we can agree on?
I can certainly agree to be open and honest. If it's transformative or not, that remains
Yeah.
to be seen. But I'll
Yeah.
certainly be open with you.
Okay, absolutely. So I like to keep it.
How do you mean? How do you mean whether or not it's transformative? Because what is he saying? He like doesn't believe in
Yeah.
you yet.
He's like, I don't believe you. And that's exactly the objection. That's exactly what I tried to overcome in the call.
Yeah, and he brought it up from the get-go. I'm like, hold on, what do you mean? Because you say absolutely, and then you just get into your like little sales pitch mentality. Instead, I would go into what he just shared, which is going to be the root of him not being honest with me, of him not answering my questions, of him evading taking responsibility, is what he just said.
Because that, yeah. And I've been thinking about this call this ever since I took it. And we talked about taking ownership and that we already know what we need to do, but I didn't drive it home.
Well, just realize when you're talking to somebody who has a military background, they respond very well to direct militant feedback. Sometimes they'll come across as rough around the edges and hard to deal with, but it's a facade.
Yep.
I really want you to watch this when you have some time. I did
The
this
type A.
training. Yeah, have you watched this yet?
Not that one. I watched the YouTube one though.
This
Like
one is really good. Was that
okay.
YouTube one helpful?
Yeah, it was really helpful.
This will go way deeper into that same personality,
Okay.
which just so you know, most people, that's their biggest struggle is dealing with these types of people because they don't understand them enough.
Okay. This just
Think
for
that's the
just for context, this wasn't the military guy, but not that that matters.
Okay, got it. No worries.
Have as the main focus for starters. So I know you said you're about 257 pounds right now. So
Mhm.
what's your age and height?
So I'm 41, 41 years old. It all
Okay.
sounds like I'm making a mistake when I say that because I feel like I'm 28 in my head, but I'm 41. And my height is I guess in between 5'10" and 5'11.
Okay.
Got a
So
little,
we
like
could say
5'10" and
5'11.
a half.
I'll
Yeah,
give you the
yeah.
5'11.
Let's round up. Yeah.
What I've seen is best for 5'11 is about 185 to 180
Okay.
pounds. Is that
Okay.
something that we can agree on? Or is that like what you had in mind?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so it's just I'm kind of worried about like loose skin and stuff like that. If I lose like too much weight, do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
That's not how that works, though, right?
Yep. Especially if he's not
Yeah,
like 400.
right.
I wasn't sure if that was maybe too lean.
Okay.
Perhaps I don't know.
You were thinking
But
more towards 200, yeah?
Okay, so what you would want to do is you would say, from my experience, working with guys in your exact same position, what we would want to do is we would want to get you down to a leaner frame around 180 pounds, and we want to build you up with muscle to about, say, 185, 190. So we're looking at about, what is he, 240 right now? 250?
250.
250, so that's what, 60, 80 pounds-ish? 70 pounds of work. Cool. You up for it? That's my mentality. And I
Yeah,
want to
you've
get
been
him to
asking.
submit.
Yeah, I heard you the other day. You said, "Are you up for it?" Should I ask them, "Are you up for it?"
Yeah. Are you
Okay.
up for it? You ready
Okay.
to work? That mentality. It's like, let's put the train on the tracks. We're not here to just talk about it. I'm here to get you out of your own way so you can have what you want.
Okay.
Because loose skin, like, dude, I've lost 110 pounds. I don't have loose skin. I've been fatter than this guy.
that's just like just a thought I had in my head. I kind of thought, well, I want to get out of like the obesity category
Mhm.
and get into sort of something a bit more normal, average, like just not
I will tell you
fat.
though, especially the stretch marks really only come in if you're like really towards like the 300 plus range. For you, just
Hmm.
because you're 257, I will say if you got down to like 180 to 190, you wouldn't have very many stretch marks.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
But he's talking about loose skin, right? So make
maybe
sure when
misheard
you,
him. Hmm.
yeah, it's loose skin, not stretch marks.
Regardless, you're looking to lose what, 60, 70 pounds ish?
Yep.
Okay. And are
And specific, right? 60, 70 pounds
you
ish
ish?
is it's it's going to come across as immature, unprepared. And for you, being how young you are, you got to be sharp, experienced, direct, strategic. Everything out of your mouth needs to be, this is what we're doing now.
Actual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you looking to build any muscle as well, or just mainly lose the fat?
Um, well, I don't know much about the science of it. I think probably if I'm going to be in a calorie deficit, I'd probably just want to focus on getting enough protein and retaining any muscle tissue that I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember, that'll be the focus. So,
I mean, like end all be all. Like, if you could snap your
yeah,
fingers.
at the end, I'd like to be a bit. I don't want to be. I'd rather be a bit more muscular than skinny. So,
Okay. Yeah. So then what we could say is get you down to about 190 or so, and then build up, 10 pounds of muscle and get maybe
190
get
or
you up to 200.
so.
How does that?
Don't say that. 190, and then we'll build you up to 200 pounds of 10
Do you
pounds of
feel
muscle.
it? Do you feel it what you just said?
Hearing it back, yes.
Yeah. But you come across as way more certain and
Way
confident.
more.
Yes. Direct. And it's downward inflection. It's not could be, maybe. You're taking control and you're helping them take control, which is what they want.
Does that sound?
okay, sounds good.
Okay. So we got about just
You see how he's like, sounds good. Yeah.
He did that to me with me the whole call.
Because he doesn't know anything, dude. He doesn't know about nutrition. He doesn't know about the body. He doesn't know how to maintain. He's clueless, which is the problem. Because it takes a simple Google search to get all this information. This is a grown man you're talking to. He's in his 40s.
to be on common ground. We got about 80 pounds of work here. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And when was the last time that you were 200?
Good I think it would have been about 2016, maybe, about
Oh
2016,
wow. Oh, wow, so
because
10 years.
yeah, I was in Florida, and I remember being pretty. I was about 200 then, 205, something like that, when I was in
Okay.
Florida. So
And that was
that's how I remember it.
that was about 2016, you said, right?
Yeah, summer
Okay.
2016.
And over the last 10 years, what have you gone out and tried to put yourself in a position to get back down there?
Well, how did I want to understand how did this weight accumulate over time? Would be number one. Because what I see too often, and I was challenging Misha on this, is like we get a time frame. He says he was 200 pounds in 2016. So your question of like, well, what have you tried over the last 10 years to get down to 200? It doesn't tell the whole story because he gained weight. Like, what if he gained weight the entire time and now he's like, oh, well, I need to make a change? The answer is going to be, I haven't done anything. I've just been gaining weight. You see what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what all these people ask. So what happened over the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Even if they're not extremely overweight.
I think it's case by case. It's going to depend on their goals. But
Okay.
with this specific guy, I would want to understand how did we accumulate so much weight in so little time? Because that's 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Everything. A lot of
Oh, really?
diet. Yeah, some of them are a bit more extreme, like high protein, sort of low carb stuff, or
How's
keto, or
his body language? Is he like laying back on a couch, or is
Yeah,
this
that's what it
position,
looks like a bed. This looks
is
like a
that
bed.
does that need to be addressed?
Not necessarily. It's not the most important thing.
he's been very, very restricted with what I've eaten. But it's like you probably could predict, it's something that lasts for a fairly short period of time, and then you kind of run out of steam with it. So
Yeah. When you say run out of steam, how do you mean?
um, so it's just overly restricted, so I find it unsustainable. So what tends to happen is I sometimes slip into all or nothing kind of mentality. So
Okay.
if I'm eating like I eat like 2,000 calories a day or
Oh,
something
really?
less,
Would it be fair to say
whatever.
would it be
I
fair to
don't know.
say
Like
though that there are other people that the keto, the carb restrictions, things like that, would it be fair to say that those do work for other
Okay, I would want to, before you challenge him, I would want to understand how did these diets come into place? Like, where did you learn this? Where did the strategy come from? Because I'm looking for, is this guy like resourceful? Is he talking to nutritionists? Is he doing research to try and build out these plans, or how are they coming about?
that actually makes a lot of sense because if they say, "Oh, I just what people told me around or what I thought was best." Okay, so you didn't really have any plan in place.
Yeah. Was there anything that prevented you from putting a more concrete plan in place? Could be a question you can ask. Or
Okay.
what kind of results have you seen doing it that way? How much weight have you lost doing it that way? When was that? Okay. Aside from that, what else have you tried on your own? What have you looked at in terms of getting outside help so that you can get a more structured plan in place? For some reason I got James. I'm going to let him in and tell him this is a one-on-one.
I really like that. Um,
Yeah, it's really good. James, we're doing a one-on-one right now, brother.
Oh, apologies, guys.
You're
Laters.
good. Later,
no
dude.
worries.
Have fun.
It's funny.
I mean, it is the same time as the group call, but
Yeah.
I really like that question of the if they did keto carnivore, where did you get that info from? That's sneaky. I like
Yeah.
that. I
Because then
like
it'd be
that.
like, yeah, some guy on the internet told me to do it. Right. And like in the same way, you come to me and you're like, I want to improve my sales. And I'm like, Gavin, what have you been implementing in order to improve the conversion rate? And you tell me you just found random stuff off the internet. You already know how to navigate that conversation because it's very practical to you, right? Because I'd be like, okay, well, they're all saying something different,
Yeah,
right? It's just free information. Like how are you going to get to a place where you master it by just grabbing random word tracks off of YouTube?
it's true.
And then I get into results, and then you would tell me you're not seeing the results because if you were, we wouldn't be
We wouldn't
talking
be
right now.
talking. Yeah,
Yeah. So same thing, just keep it simple. When you keep it simple, you can navigate it because you understand what you're trying to get.
other people.
Yeah, certainly they probably do. Yeah.
Yeah, probably or definitely.
Well, I think all diets work. They all work
Yeah,
for some
okay,
people. Some diets do.
exactly.
So,
Why didn't it work for you though?
I like bread. I like.
Okay, why puts people on defense? So what's a better question?
What do you feel led this to not work for you?
Okay, I can help you with that. What do you feel got in the way of it working for you? Or what do you feel
Yeah.
prevented you from finding a way to make it work?
You never want to ask the why question because it seems like you're trying to like punch them in the face.
Yeah, why are you wearing that sweatshirt?
Why you have blue hair?
Yeah, what goes in your brain is immediately I got to defend myself.
Yeah. The why I remember you said the example of I don't remember who it was, the blue hair. You pointed at somebody in the crowd, but yeah.
Yeah.
I find it hard to not. I have a sweet tooth. I don't know really. I think that's it. I also felt I kind of like fruit as well. I like eating.
Mm.
I think with a lot of those diets, you
When you say it's
have
like you find it hard to like, you find it hard to what?
to eat that way consistently. I just find it a bit miserable. You know what I mean? I find eating like
Mm.
one time I was doing a kind of like Atkins kind of. No, it
Is that
wasn't. It was paleo.
externalizing?
The question, when you look at it, like, do you feel like that's the best question to ask him? It's kind of a lazy question.
Yeah, it is a lazy question. Is it the diet or is it you?
Yeah, that's a much better question because you start to
So good.
realize like if someone came to you and they were like, online coaching doesn't work, and they told you like a blanket statement like that, you have the experience, you know it does,
Hmm.
right? So in the same way with the diets, with the nutrition, you know every single diet works, right?
Yeah. Instead of asking why didn't the diet work for you, you could say,
What do you feel you're doing or not doing that's
yeah,
preventing the diet from working?
yeah, okay.
Because for him, it's what? Why isn't the diet working?
It's him.
Yeah. What about him?
He's not following through.
Yeah, exactly correct. So him not following through, what does that cost him?
Everything we're about to talk about.
Yeah, what if we continue to not follow through? You know what I
He's going to
mean?
continue on the same path he's been on for 10 years. I have a question about that though. If the time frame is more than a few years, most of the time, do you have to push extra hard to get them to break that mindset?
Mm,
Because it's been so long. Like the
I
guys
think
you
it
say,
just depends. No, that's a good question. It depends. The way we build the urgency is through the conversation we're having right now. I would say you have to push harder or that he's a worse off lead to be speaking to.
hmm,
It's just in the same way that what I tell you guys is like the reason we find ourselves in these situations is because we don't reflect enough on the decisions we make, right? That's why we're reflecting on these calls. That's why I'm
exactly.
asking you these thought-provoking questions. Because
You're holding.
if you did reflect the way we are right now, every day over the last 10 years, would we be in the position we're in right now?
No.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, so it's my fault as well. And you are holding me accountable just like I'm holding these guys accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same thing. And leadership, it's like a root of a tree. Just goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. The more grounded you are, the more you know how to navigate these conversations, regardless of what comes out of their mouth. Because they're going to throw curveballs left and right, because they're all different. They all have different perspectives, all have different experiences, all have different upbringings, right?
Yeah.
That's why the copy and paste framework doesn't do you as much justice as keeping it simple and being able to listen and ask questions based on what's coming out of their mouth, which is the most important part.
So the main takeaway so far is continue just being as absolutely grounded as possible.
Yeah. More challenging, I'd say.
Challenging.
More context from his answers,
Okay.
asking more questions, right? But then starting to challenge how he's doing it. because the diets do work. And that's why I asked that question of what do you feel you're doing or not doing that's preventing the diet from working as well as you feel it should? Which is always going to be what? What's the answer?
You, accountability,
You follow
ownership.
through, ownership, accountability, that. Yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing.
Every
I
time,
just,
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time.
And if you remember, it started with the conversation of, I don't know if this is going to be transformative, right?
What's behind that?
Yeah. Because think about it. Like if you went out on a date with a girl and the first thing out of her mouth was, yeah, we'll see if this is a good time.
What's behind that?
Yeah. It's not
That's
nothing.
alarming. That's alarm bells that should be going off.
100%. Yeah. In your brain, you'd be like, what? What did you just say? What do you mean?
It's just so easy to miss.
Yeah. It's easy to miss when we are focused on us, when we're focused on our business, our
Our
sales
sale.
process, our income, you miss it. But when you're listening to the person and the focus is the person and all the distractions are eliminated for the hour you're with them and you're fully present on every word coming out of their mouth, you don't miss it.
So if you were on this call with this guy, you would have addressed that the second he said it, and
Hmm.
the whole call would have been about that.
Yeah. Because that tells me he's had some negative experiences with other trainers or coaches, etc., that he's going to bring and project onto me.
That's frustrating, but
But
also
it's
empowering.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Because that's blood in the water. You're a shark, that's blood from the jump. Because think about it, if he's saying, like, I don't know if this is going to be transformative, what conclusions can you draw from that?
He's skeptical
Skeptical because of what?
because he thinks I'm a scammer like everybody else.
Past experiences,
Yeah.
negative past experiences that you want to understand, right?
Yes. So we can overcome it.
Yeah. Because whatever you believe is what you're going to become. If you believe this is not going to be a transformative conversation, it's not going to. Do you want a transformative conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. And so does he.
And if I really cared about him, I would have addressed that the second he said it, and I wouldn't have continued.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know if this is going to be transformative. And you're like, absolutely, man. So these calls, they go 45, 60 minutes, and I just want to see if I can help you. And it's a robotic response. And then he goes, oh, here we go again. Same thing. And he's going to keep it surface level because he doesn't trust you. Because the people who did that to him in the past didn't care about him.
I guess also, to be honest with you, Gavin, it was an issue where I wasn't really planning enough. So what tended to happen was I would tend to rely on like processed meat products, for example, just like,
Mm.
on the go, because I wasn't planning properly. And I
Yeah.
would also with like, I mean, obviously within like paleo diet, there's a lot of vegetables you can eat. But I guess, hadn't properly planned or prepped
Yeah.
to make that.
When you say properly planned, like how do you mean?
Like for example, planning my shopping, maybe meal prepping, taking a look at, what I can eat, and making sure that's what I have available and
Mm.
ready to go, I guess, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Do you feel like you know or you have at least somewhat of an idea of like how to lose weight? Just a calorie deficit, right?
Yeah, I think so. I
Okay.
think it's
Would it
basic
be
thermodynamics, right?
would it be fair to say then You that think you losing
Mm-hmm.
have an
weight
idea
is
of calorie deficit that should have been challenged?
How do you feel you could have done that better?
So what you're saying is it's not a matter of having the right way to go about it. It's a matter of you taking ownership.
Yeah, I'd say so.
They What they've been saying to me, I don't remember if this guy has or not, but what they say to me is, "Oh yeah, I kind of agree. It would be a mix of both."
how do you handle that?
I in the past have been agreeing with them,
It's okay.
and that's not what I should do. What I should do is say that you know what you need to do and just be more grounded with that.
Let's watch it again. I'll tell you exactly what to say.
Like for example, planning my shopping, maybe meal prepping, taking a look at, what I can eat, and making sure that's what I have available and
Mm.
ready to go, I guess, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Do you feel like you know or you have at least somewhat of an idea of like how to lose weight? You know, just a calorie deficit, right?
Yeah, I think so. I
Okay.
think it's
Would it
basic
be
thermodynamics, right?
would it be fair to say then that you have an idea of a little bit of an idea of what you have to do, and it's just a mix of the direction as well as the implementation and the accountability?
Yes, I think so. That's a
You see how you're like really spoon feeding it to him?
Yeah.
So the leadership that we're talking about from the start of the call, which is this is what we're going to do, will also show up here because you're building the foundation of a house. If you have cracks in the foundation from the start, the house is not going to stand. So here I would be saying things like, it's simple, right? Weight loss is simple. If you burn more calories than you take in, what happens?
You lose weight.
You lose weight. You're a sharp guy, right? What do you feel is getting in the way of you doing just that?
It's myself.
Yeah, that's the only answer he could give if he's being real with you. If he's not real with you, then that's another conversation.
Yeah,
But the only answer,
when they say if I'm honest with you, is that something that should be addressed? Because he said if I'm honest with you just a second
I
ago.
would say I would hope we've been being honest with each other. Have you been honest with me up until this point? Has there been anything you have not shared? Right? So it's just a constant game of tug of war.
fair way to put it, I think. Yeah.
Why do you think or why do you know that's a fair way to put it for you?
Because that, I mean, I do know how to lose weight. I'm not like, it's not,
That's why I say you're a sharp guy. And you would agree with that. Like he's not dumb, right?
Yeah.
So what's the obstacle in the way for him? I would just want to understand what it is. He's probably going to say other things, just like most of these people, right? Job, stress, family, busyness, whatever. But you and I both know once again, that's just an opportunity to challenge and reframe.
it's not like a lack of information. Like, that's not my
Mm.
problem. If anything, it's probably the opposite. I probably have too much information about it.
Yeah,
That's,
and I appreciate
a lot
you.
of it's conflicting.
I appreciate you being open and honest with me.
Well, how does he mean a lot of it is conflicting? What does that even mean? What specifically is conflicting? He just told me he knows that when you eat less calories than you burn, you lose weight.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? So what
Yeah,
is conflicting?
it's not adding up.
Yeah.
Like, I talk to a lot of guys on calls like this, and I just wanted to say that, John, it's pretty refreshing.
Because you see, like he just gave you like a little BS answer. It's like the reason that I haven't been able to get a handle on this is because these people haven't given me some simple formula. He's like blaming the types of diets instead of taking responsibility, and now you're rewarding it. Do you see that?
Yes.
You're like, John, you're amazing, dude. Thank you so much. But
When should you reward like that?
when they drop their ego and they say things like, dude, I should have done way more. Like I've been pushing this off and making a bunch of excuses, and it's really hurting me.
Okay, when it's not, this guy just said a few words. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know what I need to do," and then I'm like, "Oh, great job for saying that."
If he knew what he needed to do,
Would already done it.
he would have already done it. Exactly correct.
So, okay, just so I have crystal clear clarity, the only time that you reward them is when they completely flip that ego off and they just submit to you.
Hmm. Yeah, because think about it. When he says like I should have done more, or yeah, I have just been wasting time procrastinating and I know I need to do more, then you in this scenario would be like, oh man, that's amazing. I'm glad that you're ready to do more, which is happy ears. Like you're taking what they're saying at face value and agreeing to a narrative that they're ready to change. But what I would do is I would say, well, what's prevented you from doing what you know you're supposed to do?
That was the exact
being
thing that I
disagreeable, right?
usually
You
do.
always
Yeah.
want to push them away because he just
Can't
told
fool
you,
them.
I don't need more information. I don't lack information, which is a good answer. And I'm like, okay, so if you don't lack information, what's preventing you from doing what you know you're supposed to do? The only answer to that is the accountability,
Yep.
right? And you can use analogies to firm the belief in their mind. So what's an example of an analogy you could use with someone like this to get your point across, you feel? What he's saying is, I know I need to be held accountable. We don't want to use fitness, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, like let's say I take my dog on a walk through the woods, and typically what my dog does when I let her off the leash is she goes off the path. But when I hold her on the leash, no, does that make
too
sense?
complicated,
Yeah.
too
What is
complicated.
what are the
So
better one?
we're saying we need accountability,
Yeah.
right? So think about it. What are some examples of, and I really want to push you here, of needing accountability for things other than just fitness?
Going to school, going
Yes.
like paying to go to
Yes.
school.
Thank you. So how could you use that here?
Ask him, did you go to school? Like, did you go to college?
Hmm.
Would you ask them how much they paid, or it doesn't matter?
No, I wouldn't. But you're on the right track. So someone says, "Yeah, I've gone to university or college." What would you say then?
Okay. And you paid a significant amount for
That's an
to
assumption. That's an assumption. So a better question would be, I would imagine that not every single class you took was something you were super excited to learn. Would that be fair to say that?
yes,
What was it that kept you showing up, going to the lectures, doing the homework, and studying for the tests?
because I paid for it, and if I didn't show up to those, I wouldn't get my degree.
Yeah. So then we can go into what determines success or failure in school.
If
Is it
you
just
show up,
paying the money or what?
if you show up,
Yeah, because there have been many people who paid the tuition that didn't graduate. Why do you feel that is?
because they didn't show up and they didn't follow through.
Yeah. So are you willing to become the type of person that not only will commit financially, but will actually do what we tell you to do?
Yes,
Because the outcome of that for the college student is what?
they get the job, they have the
They get the
degree.
job. And it's not even just the job, it's what the job does for them, right?
Yeah,
The freedom. Is that making
and the
sense?
more, yeah, and the more ownership that you take, the better of a job you get, the more freedom you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talking to somebody like you who understands that it's not a matter of having the right information, because the truth is that we're swarmed with information on Instagram and Google and ChatGPT. As you said, like if anything, there's too much information out there.
Yep.
And honestly, I just wanted to take a second and say that I appreciate it. And it's pretty refreshing to talk to somebody like you who understands that it's not a matter of like having the information, it's a matter of the actual implementation. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Sure.
I don't mean to assume anything though, but if
Do you see how you're telling them though?
How could I do that better?
Let's get resourceful. Hearing what you just said, I'm going to play it again.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to think through what you could have asked him.
Information. Like that's not my
Hmm.
problem. If anything, it's probably the opposite. I probably have too much information about it.
Yeah.
Got too
What,
much information.
when you say it's too much information, how do you mean?
Yeah, good one. Let's keep
And I
going.
appreciate
A lot
you.
of it's conflicting.
I
It's conflicting. It's
when you
their
say it,
fault.
yeah, when you say it's conflicting, how do you mean?
Yeah.
And then they'd say like, oh, or you say it.
What's an example of an analogy you could use? Someone says, like, you see a lot of stuff on the internet, it's conflicting. Could use marriage, right?
And how?
Well,
What do you mean?
if I search up on the internet, how do I parent my kid?
It's gonna tell you.
Many different angles, right?
Yeah. Or like you could say a football team has many different plays, but the only
Yeah.
thing that matters.
Is there a perfect, like, step-by-step game plan that's always going to lead the team to win? No.
No.
You can't just run the same plays. Like, imagine if you were a football team and you ran the exact same plays from start to finish.
Yeah, you'd get crunched
Yeah, why? Because life
because
doesn't
everybody
work that way,
life
right?
does, yeah, life isn't guaranteed like that.
Yeah, if it was simple and easy like that, then everyone would be doing it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But on the offensive side, then if that was the case, then what about the defensive side? And you could just do defensive plays and everyone just run the same plays and you would always win. But that can't be true. That's not how life works.
Yeah.
Because if we're running the same plays, it would just take, it's not rocket science. Everything is filmed. You just watch the plays, you'd be prepared. You know how to combat the plays in the order in which they come. So that aside, like let's talk about something more practical. Let's talk about raising kids. This guy's old. I could use family. I would ask, are you married? No. Do you want to be married? Yes. Like imagine I sat down and I was like, what's the perfect way to be married? Like how many different opinions I would get. But what works for someone else won't necessarily work for me, right?
Hmm.
So the information aside, what makes the difference between success or failure in marriage?
The person, the people,
Doing what?
following through with what they say they were going to do.
Honoring their commitments. So you not honoring your own commitments as a man,
What type
what
of
it,
impact is that having on you?
yeah, what has that cost you?
Hmm.
What has that cost you? Where else is that showing up? Another great question. When you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you look at your life, are you succeeding or failing based on your standards? And it's black and white. Like, don't overthink it. You either are or you're not. So which one is it? And he'll say, I'm failing.
Yep.
And if I get enough leverage, when he tells me later that he's afraid to take the step into a coaching program,
Makes perfect sense.
I would say we're already failing now, though. We're failing. So what is there to be afraid of? You got me?
Yeah.
I appreciate you being open and honest with me. Like, I talk to a lot of guys on calls like this, and I just wanted to say that, John, it's pretty refreshing talking to somebody like you who understands that it's not a matter of having the right information, because the truth is that we're swarmed with information on Instagram and Google and ChatGPT. As you said, like, if anything, there's too much information out there,
Yeah.
and honestly, I just wanted to take a second.
Because now we externalize. We're like, dude, it's the information's fault. Instead of going into the analogy of like, dude, it's all about commitment at the end of the day. Because every single diet works, but you're not picking a direction and committing.
What if somebody says the reason the diet didn't work because it wasn't sustainable for me, I didn't enjoy it?
Well, dude, if a married guy came to you
Yeah.
and he said, my marriage isn't working, it's just not sustainable, what would you tell him?
Not to find a new partner, it's your fault.
Yeah. But think about it. It's like, it's not sustainable. What does that even mean? If someone came to me and they're like, it's not sustainable in my marriage, if I cared about them, would I be like, oh yeah, dude, just ditch her? Or would I say, what about it isn't sustainable and what can we do to fix it so that it is?
Yeah.
That's such a lazy answer. It's not sustainable. Goodbye. Who is that helping?
Nobody.
Nobody. And what is that costing you thinking that way?
It's putting it on the program rather than like hoping that he aligns with the program rather than him aligning with the person that he needs to become.
Yeah, exactly. Because the guy who he wants to be, he makes decisions differently, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that changes every area of his life.
Yeah, because at the end, the objection, it was think about it, and then he's like, "Oh, that's how I always do decisions."
Yep. Which makes sense, right?
Yeah,
and say that I appreciate. And it's pretty refreshing to talk to somebody like you who understands that it's not a matter of like having the information, it's a matter of the actual implementation. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, for
So
sure.
I don't mean to assume anything.
You see that though. What just happened?
he's just like, "Yep,
He's like, yeah, that's me. But that's
no,
not him, right?
it's not. Got to roll the sleeves."
Yeah, 100%, dude. Because this is an assumption that you made and he just nods his head, but he didn't give me anything. He just nodded his head the whole time.
Yeah, it only hurts when they say it.
Yeah, and you're making an assumption about him that's not true, which really hurts him. Because if he was in a place where he was willing to take the ownership and stop making excuses prior to the call, then we wouldn't be on this call right now,
Yeah, it's true.
right? Super, 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 super important. We never want to get in the habit of assuming, or like I said the other day, putting them in a what?
Box.
Putting him in a box. Because he doesn't belong in this box you're trying to put him in. He belongs in the box of excuse making, externalizing, not taking responsibility, playing the victim, being in the same spot for years. And he doesn't realize that, right?
Yep. The only thing
But
that matters is that they take ownership. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Because if they take ownership, then at the end of the call, they don't allow anything to get in the way of them getting the help they need.
Yep.
That's what we keep running into is like they'll give these ridiculous objections about partner and it's a lot of money and I don't make decisions on the spot, but that's through the lens of get away from me, right?
Yeah. I'm running away from the fear.
Yeah. And I'm not even willing to follow your lead. The reason that comes up is because they're not bought into your leadership and following and trusting you yet.
if what you were already doing, if it was working, you and I probably would not be talking. Is that fair?
Yep, I think that's fair.
Why do you think that's fair?
Asking that.
Yeah. When you notice that they're just nodding their head and saying, yeah, 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 I'm like, why do you feel that way? Are you just saying that because you think I want you to say that, or how do you actually feel? Why do you agree to the narrative that what you're doing isn't working? Tell me, because
Because
I
I
need it to come
want
out
to.
of their mouth, right?
Yeah.
Because when it comes out of their mouth, then what happens?
They believe it's true.
If you believed that what you were doing was not working, it would never work doing what you've been doing, would you just continue to do that thing, same thing you've been doing?
No.
No one would, right?
Yeah, that's why these people barely ever stay consistent and they try so many different things.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me.
You think it's fair? Or no?
Yeah, it is fair.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that you're stuck at this point?
Why was
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
You think so? Or you know so?
Okay. You think, I noticed that you keep saying you think so.
Good job.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to overcommit myself to it. Yeah, I am stuck, I guess.
You don't want to overcommit yourself? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Okay. When you say you don't want to overcommit
Good job.
yourself, like if you could see yourself, 6
No, no,
how do
no.
you mean?
How do you mean? Because you're trying to put him in a box right now. You're trying to control the answer you're going to get out of him because you're fearful that if you would just ask him, what do you mean by that? You wouldn't get the answer that you're comfortable handling.
It's the uncomfortable question. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, what does that even mean? Because he may be like, dude, what's your point? Right? He may get agitated, but that's out of your control. That's out of your control. But you're not getting the answers that you need. That's why we find ourselves here, where you're trying to like force it. And you can't force it, just like you can't force him to join the program.
That's why it works better on the type B prospects, and the type B prospects are so easy to close, or easier to close
Well,
than this guy get
the reason
rammed.
we find ourselves here, though, based on the training that you watched, where I reviewed Luke's call, why did he find himself in that position where he had no leverage?
Because you didn't get adequate context.
Yes, moving on too quick. Do you see that same thing here?
Yes.
That's why. So it's not that type B leads are easier, it's
So they give
that
it to you.
they just give it to you. Yes. So you don't have to work as hard.
Yeah.
But the principle is Gavin does not move on until he gets the answer he needs.
And how many times would you say that I've done that in this call to where I move on?
Um, why do you ask? Because I could give you a
How
number, but it's
how
like
common is it coming up?
I would say the principle that we would want to work on is just sitting and being more patient. Let's just say that.
Okay. All right, I'm good. 6 months, a year down the road, and you're 200 pounds. Do you think that, or do you know that that version of yourself, would he say, I think it's possible. I think that I'm stuck now. Or would he say that I'm definitely stuck now and I definitely need to make changes?
I think it'd be pretty definite.
Good. You think it would. Is it definite or not?
Yeah, would you challenge that again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part.
So what do you feel you need to do in your mind in order to put yourself in the best position to become that person?
Commit.
Absolutely. So how
Yeah.
long have you
What do you say? Commit?
commit?
Commit to what? So stop doing, so the second principle is stop running with the answers and agreeing. So right
Oh
here,
yeah,
you're
I do
like,
that a lot.
totally. You're like,
I do
yeah,
that.
that's it. You're like, you finally gave me the answer I need. Good job. But if they thought that way already, they wouldn't be on the call. So you still want to push them away. Commit to what?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah. Because if he says, I need to commit, then a way of challenging them is because what if you don't commit? What if you don't? What would that do?
More pain.
Urgency. What if he doesn't commit to himself like he hasn't? He's 40.
Continue on the path.
Yeah. Which is leads to where?
Staying the same and just even worse situation.
Yeah. And how would
Because
that sit with him?
yeah, it'd be horrible. Like that's where we're asking the question of if you could see yourself 10 years ago and you sat down with him, how would it make you feel? Having, if you told him about your situation now.
Yeah, that's kind of the question. If I sat down with you at age 20 and listen to my tone and listen to the speed, let's say you're 40, Gavin. We could even do it right now. You're 19 right now.
Hmm.
Describe to me what life looks like at 40. What do you envision for yourself?
Freedom, full family, not having to worry about finances at all, good health, strong, good leader, father.
Hmm. How many kids do you want to have?
3. I'm not sure.
Okay. Boys, girls.
Both.
Okay. So when I hear someone say that they want,
Sorry to cut you off, but is thinking about that outside of this actually a useful thing to think about?
yeah, because think about it. I can't put a standard on you that I don't hold myself to.
Okay.
Yeah, because when they say I haven't thought about it, in your brain, if you haven't thought about it, you can't challenge them on that
You're right.
because you're doing the same thing,
Yep.
right? But if I were to go deeper in your goals and your desires, what I heard you say was strong leader,
What does that mean?
not
Yeah.
worried about money.
And if I really thought deep with myself, even about financial goals, if I thought as deep about myself as I strive to be with these people, I would already be at my financial goals.
Yeah, potentially. But the conclusions I draw from what you just shared is better than what you had growing up, right?
You're, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I were to draw a conclusion, I would say you growing up as a young man, you didn't have strong leadership. There was a fear of the future with money, and you don't want that for your family.
Yes.
Yep. Because if you had the strong father and leader and income and money, and he really was as strong as you're describing you want to be, he would have taught you everything. You see what I mean?
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
So when you hear this stuff from people, you have to realize like the more willing you are to go into your own closet and examine yourself and where you come from and why you respond the way you do to things and what your triggers are and what your goals are and how you view the world, the more leverage you have to talk to these people. Because you and I have never talked about your upbringing, really.
Hmm.
But I can read in between the lines because I have the same goals as you. Everyone wants to be free. Everyone wants to be healthy and strong and together. No one ever signs the dotted line and says, I can't wait to be divorced. You get that, right?
Yes.
No one would ever sign up for it if they knew that was the outcome. But we have a 51% divorce rate in the United States.
And you wouldn't, this is me thinking out loud, but you wouldn't have the authority to ask these type of questions if you didn't go deep in your own life.
Correct. Because once again, it's a mirror. The excuses they give, the lack of thought and reflection that they give, it's like patty cake if you're not doing it yourself. It doesn't even make sense for you to ask them to do it if you're not doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Blind leading the blind. Because your willingness to go there yourself is what gives you leverage to help them go there themselves.
Every time I talk to you, man, it's just it's an impactful conversation. It's transformative. Thank you.
Yeah.
Seriously. Thank you.
They don't teach you any of this stuff. I didn't learn any of this stuff in school. Nothing.
Yeah.
But like we say on these calls, life doesn't just give you all the information. That's just not how it works. And it
Yeah.
takes time, but you'll learn it. You will.
Yeah. And it's so easy for me to make the excuse as well of like how young I am and how long I've been doing this, but I need to continue to take ownership.
Totally.
And I'm
Because
not just saying that to make like to give an answer to you.
yeah, because what we tell people on these calls is if all we do is talk about it, but there isn't action following the words coming out of our
In
mouth,
my life, yes.
yeah, what kind of results are we going to get?
Yeah. Disputes, not people committing.
Yeah, totally. It's foundational. That's why I'm so excited that you're here at such a young age because you're building a good foundation for your life. It's not just some short-term thing. It's your life we're talking about. Stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Thanks, man. Let's fill up the wins channel.
Get that brother in.
What do you mean?
The dude who is like evading you, the phone calls and 3K
Oh,
payment.
yeah,
Get that
yeah,
dude
yeah.
in.
What would you, real quick, what would you do in that situation? Just call him up a bunch of times, text him?
Not necessarily. If he doesn't get back to you today, then just call him every single day until you get in contact with him and be relentless and
And
help
that's
him
with
come.
all of these leads.
Dude,
Call him.
yes,
I'm
100%.
not doing that. Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, you already paid for the leads. You might as well do everything you said you would do on the call and help them.
Yeah. Yeah, my ad spend I've ramped it up so much in January, so I gotta make it happen. Let's just say that.
Make it happen. I believe in you.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.
You too. Bye bye.
Later.